What is up, my friends? How are we? You are very welcome along to Sunday's late night news roundup. You're very welcome in. Apologies that it's such a late show tonight, but I was out for dinner with the fam, so just back in and straight onto the computer. So, ladies and gentlemen, lots to go through. Of course, we're going to be discussing the Luis Diaz to Bayern Munich situation as that is moving along. That offer is now being accepted by Liverpool, so loads to go through. We're going to talk about Rodrigo, Alexander Isak. We're going to speak about Benjamin Šeško and loads more. How was the meal? It was good, thank you, mate. Yeah, it was lovely. Nice to be out for a little bit, get a bit of food and come back. Let me just get this onto Do Not Disturb so I don't ruin my own stream. Bear with me 1 second. There we go. Turn Do Not Disturb on so my phone doesn't interrupt us. Yeah, meal was good, thank you. It was nice. It was lovely. Lovely hotel. Shout out to the staff over at the Ashdown. Also, want to say a little hello to Jake McDonald, cousin of mine, but haven't seen him in a long time. Jake, I hope you're well, my friend, and enjoy your holiday. I know you're off in the morning. Right, folks, so where to start? Well, there was a couple of messages, actually, before we kick off. Tipsy Dipsy said, we are the evening dessert. Love that, Craig. Well, I didn't actually have time for dessert, so you're right. You technically are the evening dessert. Congratulations, by the way, to the Lionesses. I'd noticed while I was out that England's women won the Euros again, retained their trophy with a penalties victory, was it? Over Spain? I know they won anyway. Well, congratulations to the Lionesses on that achievement. Angus Court said this is a generational transfer window from FSG. It is. It's amazing. Did I have broccoli for dinner? No, absolutely not, mate. Come on, you know me better than that. Fish and chips, actually, is what I went for. Scotty, 51 months with the best family on here. Fab tweet on Isak. Right, well, let's get cracking. Right, which one have I got on Romano? I haven't got Romano's tweet, actually, yet. So does anyone want to send it on to me? Itachi, Isak's still injured. They're actually admitting now that there was no injury. That's the funny part. They had to play the injury line, but there's actually an admittance now that there wasn't an injury. Jake McDonald. Oh, there he is, the cousin. Jake, how are we, bro? Hope you have a lovely holiday, and do say hello to your mum and dad for me as well. I have to catch up with my cousin Lisa soon. But Jake, I hope you guys have a lovely trip, my friend. I know you're up early for the airport, so have a good one. Fabrizio Romano. Right, let's have a look at what Fabrizio's had to say. Liverpool are prepared to go big for Alexander Isak after Luis Diaz's sale is done. Isak keen on the move and not even talks with Saudi clubs. Only Liverpool interests Mr. Alexander Isak. Up to now, Liverpool are playing the waiting game, but are going to enter with a strong record proposal. Colin said, flying back home to Lebanon tonight, finally, safe. Well, enjoy. Safe travels, Colin. And I've seen pictures of your family home over there that you sent to us before. It looks absolutely beautiful, sir, and safe travels over. And Jake as well, do say hello to mum and dad for me. Right, let's get cracking, folks. Loads to get through tonight. But what do we think about that? We are going to make this move now for Alexander Isak. Anybody got any ideas what we think it's going to take to get the deal done? Because I've been thinking about this for the last few days. And I'm not expecting Liverpool to just go in blindly and throw a load of money at this situation. There has to be some thought process around it. And that's exactly what Ben Jacobs and Alex Crook have been saying on TalkSport. There are no plans to bid blindly. Liverpool will only make a formal offer for Isak if given encouragement from Newcastle. They say Liverpool waiting to understand if Newcastle are now willing to listen to offers due to Isak pushing for an exit before tabling the offer. And that's key in this. Isak, I know he's going to be portrayed as the villain in this situation, which is regrettable, of course, but it's going to take him to push as well to get this move done. People are saying 125, 130. Anime Kun saying 130. Ryan Lim saying 130. 130 as well from Billy Beckner. 125 from Billy Beckner, sorry. 130 to 135 said Itachi. 125 for Ian Harrison. Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat as you guys. I think somewhere 120 to 130 sounds about right. Adam said, I think we really need another forward after Isak if Diaz and Nunes Chiesa all go, and two centre-backs as well. Disappointed he didn't get a sticky toffee pudding. I didn't have time to get dessert, mate. I was straight back over here as soon as we finished and had paid for dinner. I didn't have time. I was straight back because I knew I had the stream scheduled. So, yeah, I'll have to make up for it, though. I'll get a dessert somewhere tomorrow. Right, Alex Ellis said 130. Beach 65 said 135. Peter Cousins, 90 million plus Harvey Elliott. Robbie Robbie said 130 to 140 mil. How mad is it, by the way, that we're even talking about this in realistic terms? Like, we've just broken the British transfer record to bring in Florian Wirtz, and now we're talking about doing it again for Isak. Are we sure? Is this the same ownership group? Has anybody checked on John? What's going on here? I'm not complaining, mind you. It's absolutely brilliant, but certainly a big change from last summer's transfer window when we were all sitting here twiddling our thumbs, pretty much. They should take Darwin and Elliott if they have any sense, said Freddie M. Look, I don't know if Elliott's of interest to them, but I can say if I was in Harvey Elliott's shoes, I'd certainly be interested in that move if I was going to leave Liverpool. Ryan, how are we, dude? Craig, while it's good to see this movement, I'm not convinced we get him because we're going to pay 150 million expected when we need 2 centre-backs. So, I do think we get him, Ryan, for what it's worth. I don't know what the price is going to be. Totally understand your viewpoint as well. But what I'm not certain of is the second part of what you've said, which is the centre-back situation. I feel very confident we'll bring in one. And we did a poll on the channel last night where we asked everybody, what are you guys thinking on the centre-back situation? And people said that they believe we need 2. And I don't disagree, but I would probably expect 1 to come in if Canade stays. Liquid said 120 plus 30, in add-ons. We pay happily if he performs. Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, the add-ons to be paid if we had success, that would make some sense. I'm just really excited. Like, imagine we go into next season and we've brought in Frimpong Kirkes, we've brought in Mamadashvili, we've brought in Ugo Ekitike, we brought in Alexander Isak, we brought in Florian Wirtz. That's just scandalous. Absolutely scandalous. Nomad, 24 months with us as a member, bro. Thank you so much for your support. Absolute legend. Appreciate you, mate. Said 2 years as an Ultra member. Lots of love to you, Connor, and the family. Shirt sales next season are going to be crazy. So I agree with you so much that I'm actually getting concerned that I might have to wait for my jersey because it might be so busy. So yeah, I'm trying to get the jersey as soon as it comes out. But like you said, mate, I do expect shirt sales to be crazy. Stuart said, Ashford Hotel in Gorey, Wexford, stayed many times. Yes. That's where we live. We live in Gorey, County Wexford, mate. So I had a cousin of mine that was down for dinner with us this evening. They're staying in the hotel, so we popped over to have dinner with them and say hello. But yeah, lovely hotel, lovely staff as well. Fernando, dude, how are we? Said, hey Craig, I think Newcastle will demand up to 150 million for Isak, and I'm not sure Liverpool will pay that fee. So it's a good question, and I don't think we'll pay it either, Fernando. I think we end up getting Isak for pretty much what you guys in the chat were saying, 120 to 130. That's what I think, Fernando. I know Newcastle have to put a price on the player, and they probably will want 150. But truly, I don't think he's worth 150. I understand we're going to have to pay a premium, and I'm expecting us to do that. But to me, in the open market, Isak's a 90 million quid forward, in my opinion. 90 to 100 million. If we're willing to pay 20 to 30 million on top of that, I think that's more than enough. But again, let's wait and see how it pans out. Jordan Lawson, how are we, dude? Said, I'd say we need 2 centre-backs before we sell Kwanzaa. We're saying we need another centre-back. I agree. I just don't think it'll happen, Jordan. I agree with exactly what you said. Before we sold Kwanzaa, I always felt like we were still 1 centre-back short. And I don't think that that's changed. So 2 wouldn't be out of the realms of, well, it probably is out of the realms of possibility, but 2 wouldn't be out of the realms of understandability, because, is that even a word? Understandability? It is now. Yeah, I think 2, but the way the manager was speaking about the likes of Endo and Gravenberch being able to play at centre-back, I'm really just expecting the Kwanzaa replacement, if I'm being honest. I love this community so much, said Ellie Howarth. I might not speak much, but I'm always here, Craig. Best part of my day coming on here at night. Thank you, mate. That's so lovely to hear. Appreciate you, I really do. Right, ladies and gents, my ears are acting up again, so I'm struggling to hear at the minute. I can only hear out one ear, and it's very weird because it's throwing my balance off. So excuse me if I seem a little bit weird at times. Was on to my mum there, and she said she'd love to. That's lovely. That's lovely, Jake. Do say hello. I haven't seen Lisa and Derek, your mum and dad, in a long, long time. And I'm going over for Uncle Jared's 60th next year, Jake, over to Spain with everybody. So be lovely to catch up with you guys soon. And do say hello to mum and dad for me. Tommy, couldn't have talked to Macara. Welcome in, bro. Thank you. Appreciate you. So many comments coming in. I want to get through as many as I can. 7 will go to Hugo. 7? Oh, the number 7. Sorry. That's a good question. Let's talk about that. So Diaz looking like he's going to move on now. Frees up that number 7. I'd give it to Florian Wirtz. Personally, I think Wirtz as a 7 would be amazing. I don't know if he wants another particular number. There was talk, of course, of 23 and 27. Is that right as the 2 numbers for Wirtz? But 7 for me. I could see him in the number 7 shirt, and I think he'd be an incredible steward of the number 7 shirt. I've been deaf in my left ear since I was 2, Craig. I feel your pain. I just feel really weird. Like, my breathing feels weird. My balance feels off a little bit. I think it's to do with the pressure in the atmosphere or something. Craig, would make a bit more sense to buy Sesko, a wide forward and 2 centre-backs? Surely that would be more value for money. Do you know what? I can't believe I'm about to say this sentence. Who was it that I was speaking to? Raj, I can't believe I was about to say this sentence, mate, but don't worry about the money. Feels nice to say that, doesn't it? Don't worry about the money. Seems like the money's there, and if we don't bring in, let's say, the extra centre-back, I don't think it'll be because of the financial end of it, because we were going to recoup a lot of money still. And we brought in another, £65 million now for Diaz, so, well, we will do when that move is formalised, but what's that now? We've brought in, I think we had the numbers last night. I think this will bring us up to about 250 odd million since Edwards came in as the sporting director. Not Edwards, Hughes, sorry, Richard Hughes as the sporting director. I think it's about 250 million after the Diaz sale. And that's just, since start of last season. Frimpong 66 now, I'm not going to say we'll retire the number 66, but I don't want to see the number 66 again for obvious reasons. Why pay more than 90 million for Isak? They must sell this window. Well, they don't have to sell, Matt, to be fair. They have 3 years to run on his contract, so they are in a good position in that sense, Newcastle. But look, we've seen the struggles many clubs have had to bring in a striker in this window. Arsenal pretty much had a free run of Victor Gyökeres, and it still took them, 6 weeks to get it done? So we brought in Ugo Ekitike, and I think, I don't know, do people think this is going to be a quick deal? Because I don't. I think Newcastle are going to play this one out a little bit longer. Because one, they're going to want to get their striker over the line, because that's going to obviously mean that then if people knew publicly they were selling Isak and it was a done deal, people will be asking for mad money from them. So I think they're going to try and slow play the Isak side of it so they can sort out a striker or two. Russell Bland, how are we, Russell? Said, I read a story a few months ago of the Boston Red Sox fans protesting over the sale of a player for massive money. Same owners, could be related. So, I don't know what you're trying to get at. Are you talking about the Diaz sale? Because that was driven by Luis Diaz and not the club. The club would have happily kept Diaz around, but they couldn't get to a number he was happy with for the wages. And there's been... Actually, do you know what? Let's talk about that for a second. Right, which one was it? Okay, let's go. This one. So yeah, it was this one from Paul Joyce, who said, Diaz has been given permission to leave tour now with a deal agreed with Bayern. 2 attempts to agree a new contract failed due to a gap in demands on offer. So it seems as if Liverpool were willing to give Luis Diaz a new deal, just not at the type of money that he was looking for. So, like I said, this feels like a very money-driven move for me for Diaz, but I've no hard feelings about it, sincerely. He represented the club well when he was here. Liverpool are getting a decent sum of money for him. This is just one of those natural changes of the squad for me, and I've no ill feelings whatsoever towards Luis Diaz. Brad said, hi Craig, hope you and the family had a brilliant evening. What would your ideal price tag be for Elliott if he goes? I think the numbers that were mentioned Brad, makes sense to me. So what was that? 40 million with a buyback clause, 50 million without a buyback clause. Those numbers make sense. So I would probably go with them, mate. But I really sincerely hope that he gets a good move, because I love Harvey Elliott. He's a great kid, a great footballer, a huge red, and I just want the best for him. And if he thinks he needs to move on for Liverpool to get some game time, like Nico Williams before, I've no hard feelings with Elliott. I want him to do well. So, yeah, 40 million with the buyback clause makes sense to me, 50 without. Tommy said, do you think this means we accept an offer from Saudi for Mo next season? So, from my understanding, Tommy, and don't take this as fact, I'm just telling you a few bits and pieces that I've heard over the years. It's always been made clear to Liverpool that they won't be selling Mo to Saudi. That's what I've heard. So, basically, if Mo signs a 2-year deal with Liverpool, he expects to see the 2-year deal out. Same with the last deal. There was no selling him with a year to go to Saudi because they weren't entertaining it. Because let's be honest about it, they'd be leaving a load of money on the table if they did that. So I just hope that Salah does well for the next 2 years and we enjoy having more of him at the club. But I just don't see his camp ever agreeing to a sale. Is Ekitike like a left wing to replace Diaz, or Isak and a left wing? That's even before defenders. Liverpool gets everything in the menu. So I think of it as Gakpo as an option on the left, Rio as an option on the left. Ekitike can play in a wide position, so can Florian Wirtz. So, you know, we're not going to do this blindly. Liverpool aren't going to just start selling Luis Diaz and just bringing in somebody like Isak for the sake of it. Arne will have a plan of exactly how he wants to set up, and the club are going after the players that the manager wanted. So this is brilliant. Like, we could end up in this window with Ugo Ekitike and Alexander Isak, which is incredible. Gary, how are we, my man? We've done that one already. Sorry, Tiger said, sad to lose Diaz, good player, but replaceable. I think I echo your sentiment there. Good player, but not irreplaceable. And he's a good servant to the club. I'll say that as well. I think it's just one of those natural moves, you know. Everybody's coming out of it okay. Liverpool are getting a good fee. Diaz is getting a huge pay bump, and Bayern is getting a very experienced player. So it's a good deal all around, I think. Bruno, thank you, sir. Atanasio, said, love your work, Craig. Grateful for this community. Very inspirational. Working on a Liverpool TV show on Klopp's last season. Keen to share it with you lot. That would be awesome, Bruno. Please do, mate. I'd love to see it. I'm a huge Jurgen Klopp fan still to this day, mate. The man can do no wrong. So if you ever want to reach out by email or at Bruno, contact at AnfieldAgenda.com. I'd love to see what you're working on, mate. I think Rio would be brilliant, but slowly incorporating him needs to happen, said H. Isak can also play left wing. He does that in the national team, said Dave Lakestream. Yes, that's a very good point. Sure, of course, he's got Victor Gyökeres as well alongside him, doesn't he, with the national team? So, yeah, very fair point. Right, what's this one that's coming into me? Right, so let me run through a couple of stories. This one from Dario AS, a Spanish publication, say Real Madrid are expected to lower their original asking price for Rodrigo. They're now willing to accept offers below 90 million euro to sell the player. So what's 90 million euro? About 75 million pound? That's a decent fee. Romano said, Alexander Isak is dreaming about Liverpool. So it's good to know Romano can get inside somebody's head when they're asleep and know what they're dreaming about, isn't it? He just loves to just tweet about Atten, doesn't he? Alexander Isak was daydreaming as he was having a poo earlier on today, and he thought to himself, God, I love Liverpool. And Romano decided he needs to tweet that. He just never stops in these situations, does he? He milks these things, says he, after making about 5,000 Isak videos. But at least it's all coming to fruition now. Toby said, Craig, should we sign Rodrigo and bench him all season for the fun of it? No. If we sign Rodrigo, let him play. You know, he's a really good player. Something about this one just doesn't feel likely to me with Rodrigo. Just doesn't feel like it'll happen. I love this one. The new Alexander in town. Yes. Absolutely. Anybody with an Alexander Arnold jersey can just, like we've seen on social media, cover up the Arnold part of it and just put Isak on it. Or nothing, just put Alexander on the back of it. Sonder said Alexander Isak is dreaming of the Reds, said Fabrizio. I love that he's working so hard for this move. Now, I know that makes me a hypocrite, by the way. Any Newcastle fans or anybody watching, I'm aware I'm a hypocrite, but I'm meant to be. I'm a football fan. So I love that Isak's pushing for this move and making it clear it's only Liverpool. Let's be honest, we all already love him. So I can't wait. Hopefully it gets done. And the idea of Isak with Salah, with Ekitike, with Wirtz, with Gakpo, and all those options at Arne Slot's disposal, with Soboslai as well, it is going to be an unbelievably exciting season ahead. Arch1 Easy Edits, said, Craig, do you agree we sign Gay and Isak, sell Nunez, and depending how much is left, sign Yildiz? What a transfer window this is. So, I'm a big fan of Yildiz. I know many people in our community are a big fan of Yildiz. Who was it I'd seen linked to him? I think Chelsea were linked to him, if I'm not mistaken. But, I don't know. From what I'm reading, and look, I wouldn't be hugely up on Italian football, but from what I'm reading, it seems as if Juventus want to extend Yildiz, and he's a player that they aren't looking to sell, but a very good player. Really good player. This one from Cal said, Hi Craig, delighted with Isak, but legit question. If there is 120 to 150 mil available, surely that gets Alvarez, or is it just down to the player's desire? I think it's the second part, like you've said there, Cal. I don't think it's due to a lack of want from Liverpool. From what I understand, he just doesn't want to come back to the UK because of the whole culture, climate thing. I don't think it's anything to do with the league or Liverpool in general. I just think he doesn't want to be in the UK. Liverpool FC Vlog said, check Fab's latest post 5 minutes ago. But was this the one Alexander Isak dreaming about Liverpool? It's great to hear that, isn't it? It really is. By the way, Arsenal fans, how are you, by the way? I want to have a little word with our Arsenal friends. Don't think that we've forgotten about all those tweets begging to cancel the Gyökeres medical and sign Isak. Don't think that that's not going to be brought back up multiple times, because I've saved every single one of them, and I will be making sure that you're reminded every time Isak bangs in goals for us how much you wanted him and how much you wanted your club not to sign the striker that you signed. And don't think you can fool the world by trying to say otherwise. We've got the receipts, and we're going to be reminding you of it over and over and over again. Gyökeres is a great player, but the spoiled little Arsenal fans didn't think he was enough. Just want to say respect to Diaz, said Jack. Yeah, look, thank you to Luis Diaz for his time at the club. Absolutely. I said this before and I'll say it again. When the very unfortunate situation happened with his dad, it was a tremendous show of mental strength and bravery for Diaz to be able to play and train during that time. And I'll always have respect for him for that one. And it's okay to me that he wants to move for the money. Like I said, what motivates different people, I'm not here to judge. But this is a deal that just works for everybody. And there's no ill feeling for me whatsoever towards Luis Diaz. I'll always be thankful for what he did for us when he was here. Christian Driscoll said, Hey Craig, love the summer so far, but isn't it concerning that our only number 6 is being talked about as a centre-back option? Is he our only number 6 though? I mean, I'm not trying to really push back on what you're saying, Christian, but we do have McConnell, we do have Nioni, we do have Bajcetic, we do have Endo. Granted, different variations of how ready those guys are, how well they're able to play the position, like Gravenberch. Maka can do it as well. But I don't disagree that it would be nice to know we have cover there. Whether that cover is one of the players we've mentioned or whether it's bringing somebody in. I think I understand exactly why you're concerned about that position, because an injury to Gravenberch last year and we were in trouble. How would it go? Jordan said, are we linked to any centre-backs? It's a priority. Can't rely on Gomez to stay fit. Look what happened on tour. Yes, so I have one for today, actually. So this from our own Anfield Agenda account said Wolfsburg and Greece international Konstantinos Kouliarakis was among the players that Liverpool scouted during last season. And that's from @Choria80. So that's one centre-back that we've been linked with. Obviously, Mark Gay was another one we've been linked with. There's young Leone from Parma. There is the kid Charlie Cresswell, who's playing with Toulouse. And there was a couple more as well. The young Arujo from Benfica was another one. But they're the only names I can really think of other than Nathan Collins. And the really alarming link for me at centre-back is Ezri Konsa. That one, I'm not going to lie, I wouldn't be happy about. Bring in Mark Gay, no problem. Brilliant sign and be delighted with him. But Ezri Konsa, that would be a big pass from me. Craig, a while back I said I'd sell my house if you got Isak over 100 million. Never thought it was possible. I'd imagine a fee of 125 million pound plus 10 to 15 in add-ons related to trophies. Gotta go call the realtor now. Well, you gotta do what you gotta do, mate. I had to eat broccoli. You have to sell your house. I think it's a pretty fair one. Sounds about right, doesn't it? Donna said Hatto. Well, he's in negotiations with Chelsea. Chelsea working on trying to get a deal done with Ajax for him at the minute. So that's why I did mention Jarell Hatto's name, because I assume that Liverpool aren't pushing ahead with him unless something's changed. So, shall we ask the question? You know the question. The one that I'm going to ask every day until there's an agreement. Will we sign Isak? Yes or no? You know I love asking this question because I love seeing the variations in the answer. So will we sign Isak? Let's know how you're feeling. And by the way, there will be no calling out of anybody for me who said even a month ago that we wouldn't sign him. I'm not going to have a go at anybody over that because I absolutely understand why people thought it was far-fetched and difficult. But like I said to you, it wasn't a fleeting interest. It was really clear that Liverpool wanted Isak, and if there was any type of encouragement whatsoever, then we were going to move. And I've got to be honest with you, when we first signed Ugo Ekitike, I did think to myself, that might be the end of it. But very quickly, when I was speaking to people and reading what the journalists were writing, it made sense that, well, no, we're not done yet. And especially seeing Diaz move on and Darwin going to move on as well. And by the way, on Darwin, that's been reaffirmed by Romano. Liverpool plan is still to sell Darwin Núñez and Federico Chiesa this summer. So, just in case people are still on the, well, what if Darwin stays train? It's not going to happen. He's going to be sold. Maddie Gorman, thank you, mate, for your super chat. Very kind of you, sir. Said FSG finally discovered the Liverpool way, building from a position of strength and giving ourselves the best chance to dominate like the 70s and 80s. Hear, hear, Maddie. Couldn't agree more. I was so wound up, dude, last time when we didn't really make a big splash after winning the Premier League. It frustrated the hell out of me. So to see us doing this, just feel really grateful. Honestly, it feels very surreal what's happening. But I'm very grateful as a Liverpool fan. So, yeah, it's brilliant, Maddie. And hopefully we have the season we think and expect is going to happen. Thoughts on the Morgan Gibbs-White situation, said Coldman. Do you know, part of me likes it. You know, I like that the Forest owner showed a bit of balls. We all know he's a bit of a character, the Forest owner, but I like that he didn't just roll over and let Spurs take their player. And he gave him the biggest deal in the club's history. And, you know, I think it's a show of strength that he was able to keep Morgan Gibbs-White. So, yeah, fair play. If I was a Forest fan, I'd be very happy about that. And my wife is, and she is. So, yeah, I think it was good bit of business that by the Forest owner. Need my two centre-backs to complete this dream window with Rodrigo and Angelo Stiller in, said Triller X. Marcus said, I've had an ear infection a few years ago and had the same symptoms as yours. Hope you get better. Do you think Liverpool have different budget for each position? Yes. I've always tried to say this to people as well on the streams, that we don't go into a summer window or a winter window with a number. So John W. Henry doesn't ring up Richard Hughes and go, right, Richard, you have blah, blah this window. That's what your budget is. Liverpool take it on a player-by-player basis. And if they deem that, one, there's a need there. Two, there's a favourable condition in the market that they feel is of value, they'll move. And that's what I've always been told about them. There isn't like a budget. It's let's see what happens in each position. And if we can afford to do it and everybody thinks that this is the guy, then they generally go for the guy. Sonder said Giovanni Leone, Kone De Winter are good centre-back options. I got to be honest, I've never heard of the second one. I'm not going to lie to you, mate. Never heard of the second one. I think 66 might regret leaving after this window. I hope he regrets every minute of it. I hope it keeps him up at night. I hope when he's getting white handkerchiefs waved at him and they're screaming for Carvajal, that he remembers what it was like at Anfield. That he remembers the love and affection that he was shown during his time playing for us. Because he ain't ever going to feel that same type of relationship and bond with a set of fans again. And I don't think there was a single Liverpool fan that I spoke to that felt that was a good move for him. But if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. Also, want to say congratulations to Kerry on winning the All-Ireland today as well. They beat Donegal in the All-Ireland Gaelic football final. So congratulations to Kerry. And again, congratulations to the Lionesses for their achievement winning the Women's Euros. Back-to-back as well. The men's team could learn something there, couldn't they? Itachi said, anybody else feel like this summer is only a dream? Absolutely, dude. Like, remember, last summer, it was only a year ago. Let's think about it. Last summer, remember the vibe? Frustration, annoyance, what's Hughes doing? Why do they have jobs? All of us were feeling freaked out. And then, of course, there was optimistic Liverpool fans who always thought, okay, well, he's just assessing the squad. But think about that. And then where we are now. It's night and day. Craig, do you receive my donation? I didn't see it come up, and I don't know how long it takes to come up. Yeah, it's the next one I'm about. One after the one I'm reading, mate. It sometimes takes me 5 or 10 minutes to get through them, but it is there, dude, and I thank you for it, and I'll get to it in one moment. Corn and Pugh said, Kanade must be wondering why he can't make 200k a week here, watching us spend 300 million in transfer fees. Look, all I can say to you is, I don't know what Liverpool use to value their players and their wages. I don't know what the metrics are. I don't know what way they move. But in my time here, I don't remember, other than a young player who comes in, let's say, on pittance and gets their first pro contract, I can't remember anybody's wages jumping as much as we're talking about here. From 80, 85 grand a week up to the 200k a week plus. That is huge pay increase. So I actually agree with Liverpool's stance on this. I don't think he's worth 200 grand a week. I really don't. Remember what Virgil had to do to get that money. He had to be the best centre-back in the world. And yet other clubs might pay it, but are other clubs going in the right direction like we are? No. And he's still relatively young, so there's probably another 1 or 2 big career bumps left for him, wage-wise. I think 150, 160 is more than fair. So, you know, that's the decision he has to make. Does he want to stay here? Maybe become the next captain after Virgil? Or does he want to move on? And if money motivates certain people, like I said before, no judgment for me. Each to their own. Here's your super chat, dude, as promised, and thank you so much for that. Sassamate dude said, hey Craig, you probably won't believe me, but I used to mod for you back when we were linked to Allison, and I've been watching ever since. It's been amazing to see your progress. Well, firstly, thank you for being with us and for helping us out back in the day. I do believe you. I mean, I have no reason not to believe you, mate. But thank you for sticking with us, and I can't believe where we're at either. Someone keeps saying there earlier on, do you feel like pinching yourself and this is a dream about the transfer window? That's how I feel about our channel. I don't believe this is ours. I don't believe I'm the one with the subscribers. It all feels like I'm a fraud. Someday everybody will realise it. And yeah, it feels mad to me. Just does not feel like I deserve this. Isak, Gay and Fofana, let's do this, said Silent Pies. You should change your name to All the Pies. In memory of me. Silent Pies. That's a strange name. Silent Pies. It's got pies in it, so it's a winner. But Isak, Gay and Fofana. Well, what's going on with the Everton situation with Fofana? Because they've been making a move from as of yesterday or the day before, but I haven't really kept up to it if I'm being really honest. Right. So, Nico Shearer said, done deal and confirmed Luis Diaz to Bayern Munich from Liverpool for €75 million. Expect the signing on Tuesday, said Nico Shearer. So we'll keep an eye on that one. Obviously, Diaz is flying now from, where were we? Japan, back to Munich for his medical. So let's see how that one goes. By the way, a little quick favour. If you can, do hit that subscribe button for me. And the big bright green thing in the bottom corner here, the WhatsApp community. It is just about to hit 10,000 people. So if you haven't joined up, please do either scan that little QR code or this big QR code here. So yeah, if you want to join the WhatsApp, you know what to do. Right, let's keep going. Dylan said, reckon Rio is a starter by the end of the season. Definitely. He's going to be pushing. And from what I'm seeing of him, still a bit more end product that you'd like, but he's still a young player. But honestly, I really feel like he's impressed Arnott a lot in pre-season. Certainly impressed me as a fan anyway, so I don't think your shout is too far off. Our academy lads are cooking. Some top talent, yep. And I have to say, I was a little bit surprised from Lucas Stevenson. Didn't really expect him to be thrust into the limelight like he has been, but he does not look out of place every time he sets foot on the pitch. Yes, of course, he had a difficult time against Rafael, but can happen to a far more experienced player than him as well. But him, Leone and Rio all look really good. Also, Arsenal's 15-year-old looks pretty good as well. The one that came on and won the penalty for them against Newcastle last night. Looks like a talent as well. Right, where are we next? Sparky, or just Sparky, said slightly worried for our defence, but what a window it's been. Also, 2 years coming up of being a member here. Proud to be here every day. Thank you. When you guys feel proud to be here, that makes me feel incredibly proud to have you guys here with us. So thank you for your support. Thank you for the great community you're all part of. And just thank you for showing that there is a place on the internet for good people to come together, for it not to get toxic, and for you guys to look out and look after each other like you do. It means a lot to me as a human being. Benjamin, didn't put a comment in, dude, but thank you. John Joe, that is so kind of you, mate. Thank you so much. That's really generous of you. Just wanted to do another super chat as support. Updates on Isak, centre-back, or Canade update. Let me run through everything that I have today, mate, and we'll take it from there. It's probably the best way to do it. So, some of these are going to seem dated because they were from earlier on today, but I'll run you through everything that I have from today. So Florian Plettenberg said, an agreement between Bayern Munich and Liverpool has been reached in principle after a new bid was submitted. The transfer fee of up to €75 million, Diaz will sign a contract until at least 2029. Romano then said, Bayern closing in on a deal to sign Luis Diaz from Liverpool. Agreement at the final stages. €75 million package with add-ons included. Contract until June 2029. Liverpool and Bayern are discussing the details. Then we had Paul Joyce say Liverpool like Mark Gay, but are unlikely to be drawn into a saga over the England international. Basically letting it be known we're not going to have our pants pulled down about the price. So watch this space. If Paul Joyce is tweeting about Liverpool liking a player, definitely watch that space. Craig Hope of the Daily Mail said, with Isak at home and hoping to force a move to Liverpool, Newcastle are working around the clock to bring in a frontman. David Ornstein then was the first one out of the traps to say Bayern Munich reached total agreement with Liverpool to sign Luis Diaz. Deal for the 28-year-old winger will be €75 million, permission granted to travel for a medical, proposed 4 plus 1 year contract at Bayern, now £190 million sale since Hughes became Liverpool sporting director. Diaz has been given permission to leave the tour with a deal agreed with Bayern, said Paul Joyce. 2 attempts to agree a new contract failed due to a gap in demands and offers. Paul Joyce said there is a need for Liverpool to bring in defensive reinforcements following the sale of Jarell Quansah. And I think everyone would agree with that. Fabrizio Romano said Barcelona approached Diaz yesterday with a €60 million bid. Liverpool wanted more. Breaking, with Diaz's situation sorted, I expect Liverpool to move in on Isak now and are expected to go big. And shout out to Froggy, who put this in the Discord group, and I'd seen it in there earlier on, so shout out to you, sir. Liverpool are ready to submit a new bid to sign Isak, said Nico Shearer. Then we have the centre-back, Konstantinos Koulirakis from Wolfsburg that we were linked to. Romano then said Liverpool's plan is still to sell Darwin Núñez and Federico Chiesa. On top of that, Craig Hope, who was the Newcastle correspondent for the Daily Mail, said Isak wants to join Liverpool. The player is Arne Slot's dream target. Newcastle are now bracing themselves for an offer from the Premier League champions. And like I've said, I want to say sincerely to Craig Hope, fair play, because he's from that neck of the woods. He celebrated Newcastle's League Cup win. He's a journalist covering the patch up there. But I think he has acted very, very fairly through all of this. Always given an honest opinion of it, an honest assessment of what Isak wanted. And through all the bitterness and all the other shenanigans from other people, I think he's been really good on this and always gave a fair assessment of the lay of the land. Romano said Isak is certain about exploring a move away and is convinced about the move to Liverpool. No Chelsea, no Arsenal, no Man United, no Saudi. Isak only wants to go to Liverpool. And he's going to have to say these type of things to get Newcastle to sell. He's going to have to keep digging his heels in and say, no offers anywhere else. I only want to go to this club. Then we had Romano saying Newcastle expect an answer from Sesko in the coming week. They're prepared to make an important proposal. It's not only about money, it's also about the project. They want to make him the front man, the face of the project. So again, like I said the other day, when we see Newcastle shopping around for not one, but 2 attackers, it's always been really clear to me that they were preparing for the sale of Isak. As soon as I start reading about them going for 2 attackers, they couldn't even bullshit anymore and say that it wasn't happening. It was always going to happen. Ben Jacobs and Alex Crook said there are no plans to bid blindly. Liverpool will only make a formal offer for Isak if given encouragement from Newcastle. Liverpool are waiting to understand if Newcastle are now willing sellers due to Isak pushing for an exit before tabling an offer. From Dario AS, Real Madrid are expected to lower their original asking price for Rodrigo. They're now willing to accept offers below €90 million. And then the last thing I had was Alexander Isak is dreaming about Liverpool. From Romano. Right, so we asked, will we sign Isak? We're nearly at 2,500 votes, so we'll let it tick over for a minute or two longer. But do vote if you haven't, and I'll revisit this in 1 second. Wish we could see Rodrigo pick Trent's pocket. Oh, well, I'm looking forward to the Barcelona players running Trent inside out this season. That's going to be very funny watching that one. And I've already seen Madrid fans talking about his lack of one-on-one defensive ability, so that's going to be fun. Hey, Craig, my first super chat. I'm always honoured, Paul, when somebody says that, so thank you so much, Paul Donnelly. Really, it does mean a lot to me. Someone's first super chat's a big deal. I think my first ever super chat was for Lee Gunner, if I'm not mistaken. I'm sure I set one to Lee a while back just to pop in to say hello a few years ago, just to let him know I was watching and saying hello. But yeah, it's a big deal, your first super chat, so thank you. Just wanted to say I've been subscribed for a few months now, and these streams have become an essential part of my daily routine. Love you and your content. Keep up the good work. Thank you, Paul. And I'm really proud to have you here as well, mate. I really appreciate your support. Dylan Lynch, when do we start? What are we starting, Dylan? I'm confused, bro. You mean the league? 14th, I think it is. We play the Community Shield the week before, so I think 2 weeks from today, if I'm not mistaken, is Community Shield. So not too far away at all. Raja said, "Hi Craig, just wondering, would you rather have 2 new centre-backs or a striker like Isak right now and a centre-back in January transfer window?" I can't lie, I really feel we need a centre-back. I do. I agree with what people say about not being able to rely going into a season with Gomez as an option and thinking he's going to make it all the way through without an injury. We have a striker in. You could find another winger or attacker, so probably the centre-back if we had to get one. That's the first priority for me. So yeah, I'd go centre-back now because I really feel that could be a sticking point for us this season. Right. So 89% of over 2,500 people that voted said they do now believe Liverpool will sign Alexander Isak. Rio is learning off Mo is going to improve him. Yeah, absolutely, Chris. I mean, imagine being a young player right now, 16, 17 years of age, and you're training with Virgil van Dijk, Mohamed Salah, Florian Wirtz, Cody Gakpo, Alexis McAllister, Alisson Becker, and I could go on and on, Frimpong, Kirkes, Robbo, and I could keep going. It would be a dream. And the amount of wisdom and footballing intelligence, he couldn't ask for better surroundings. But then again, we couldn't ask for better young talent either. Benjamin Moffat, love the content, Craig, best creator on the scene. Thank you. So, I've been thinking about this a lot, Benjamin, over the last few days because there's been some really kind people like yourself saying some really nice things. So here's a question. The poll that I'm going to ask you, I want to know your answer on this one. It's nothing to do with Liverpool, so bear with me. So the question I'm going to ask is based off your lovely comment, Benjamin. Will we ever hit 1 million subs? Let me know that. Because I've said this many times. It doesn't have to be us. But I do want to see a Liverpool content creator get 1 million subs. Because it bugs me that we haven't got one. United Stand, obviously, taking care of the United side. AFTV for the Arsenal side. It's an absolute travesty that we haven't got 1 million subscriber channel. So, maybe we can do it someday. Maybe we can't. Maybe it'll be somebody else. But I just want to know what you guys think. Because I don't really think we'll get 1 million. Even if I stay for another 3, 4, 5 years. I don't know. And I always feel that way because I don't compare us to anybody else because I don't watch many other content creators. So I haven't got a clue what ones that get over 1 million do. Or is there something special about them that we're not doing? Or do they have more creators on board or whatever? But that I would like to know. So we'll check back in on this poll in a while. I've done that one. Matthew. Oh, by the way, Susie Walsh. Thank you. Susie Walsh 2009. Thank you for becoming a member of Anfield Agenda Ultras. My auntie was mayoress of County Wexford. Mordaunt. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Maybe I could follow in her footsteps one day and be the mayor of Wexford. I've considered running for political office before. Basically because, off the back of the channel and stuff, I think I could do some good and shake things up a little bit. Because you know me, I'm not softly spoken or afraid to stick my face or thoughts in. But that's cool. Dylan, when do we start considering indie as legitimate source? Absolutely loving this generational run. So I was talking to somebody about Indie Kayla the other day. Somebody that actually knows the account way better than I do. And this has been, Dylan, what I would class as the summer of the underdogs for content. Because I think Ben Jacobs has been absolutely sensational for all things Liverpool this summer. I think Indy's got more right than he's gotten wrong this summer, which is nuts. So yeah, it's the summer of the underdog, and Indy's little beef with Luke Edwards of the Telegraph's hilarious. Is there any news about Giovanni Leone kid? Nothing new, mate, that I'm aware of. Cotton LFC, nothing new. If you want a guess from me, I have a funny feeling Cresswell might be the young centre-back we move for. Now, I don't know this to be a fact, and I haven't heard something you haven't heard. But my gut feeling tells me his profile is the right one. Homegrown, still young at 22, experienced enough, playing senior football, won the under-21 Euros as well. I just have a feeling there could be something to that, you know, and it wouldn't be an incredibly expensive transfer either. Casper said, Ivan has been good. He kept saying Isak would come, even saying Fab was wrong a few weeks ago. Well, look, Ivan Schwackoff is a friend of the channel, and we're always on Team Ivan. I have great fun with Ivan, and he drops into our chat every now and again as well. So, much love to Ivan. Only ever wish the lad well. Did we have a buyback clause on Jarrell? Yes. No. Yes. Sorry. I don't know if it's a buyback clause or a first refusal, but we have an option on Kwanzaa. From what I remember, I think it's at about 60 million euro. I'm sure something came out to say it was in and around 60 million euro was the buyback option for Kwanzaa. And I don't think it comes into play for 2 seasons as well, if my memory's right. Drew said, if Palace play hardball over Gay, would you have a second centre-back option in mind? I'm still not sure we're going for Mark Gay. That's what I've said all the way through. I wonder, was he the in case Canade moved on? So if Canade stays, I would still go for Mark Gay personally, because I think he'd be a great centre-back to bring in. But I've never been assured of that. Liverpool's initial plan when Kwanzaa was moved on was to look for a young centre-back. So maybe this is one of those market opportunities that they often speak about. But I think Mark Gay would be an incredible signing, even if Canade stays. Where I will add, we won nearly everything. Is this the beginning of our next Groundhog Day? I hope so, John. So I pretty much just came in at the tail end of Liverpool's success when I was growing up. So I had to wait 30 odd years to remember the league title. So yeah, this is great. Like, I'm still buzzing off last season when I didn't expect us to win the league. And to have done that in Arna's first year, in a year where everybody thought we were going to be, well, falling down the table a bit after Jurgen left, and that we were going to struggle to do what we've done. It's amazing. And then you bag that with this window, it just gets better and better. I'm laughing at the Newcastle fans who said they both have Ekitike and Isak. Now we'll have both. Also, I don't think Gay will play on the bench. But I don't think he'd have to play on the bench. I think with the amount of games we're going to have, which is probably, 60 to 65, and you're going to have an injury to a centre-back because it usually happens, I think you could still give him more than enough game time. Like, we didn't have the option to rest Virgil last year. But if Gay came in, nothing to say Virgil couldn't get a rest 1 week and we could play Mark Gay and Ibrahim Canade. Or Canade have a rest and we play Mark Gay and Virgil. Honestly, still think you get the lad 35, 40 games a season anyway. Right, so we've had just over 1,000 votes on the poll. So far it's 80-20. 20% of people don't feel the channel will get to 1 million subs. I'd probably put myself in that 20% for what it's worth, but it's possible. It's possible. I'm not arrogant enough to say we'll do it or won't do it, but I think we're 1/3 of the way there, and we're going to need a bit more luck on the way, but I'm going to keep trying, because it would be absolutely incredible to do it as not only just a Liverpool fan, but as a non-local Liverpool fan. You know, when you see these lists of the most viewed fan channels, we're the only Irish flag on there. And that means a lot to me, to be in amongst so many great content creators. Mamrez said, hey Craig, big fan from Iran here. Much love. Right back to you, my friend. Kept watching you even in war with Israel. Who do you think should be our vice captain? I think Mo or Maka. I don't disagree. Maka, for me, I love Maka. Really, really love Alexis McAllister. I think he has leadership written all over him. Mo, Mo, I would say no to, but not because of batting against Mo. I just don't like people in the forward line being a captain. I don't know what it is. I like to have my captain either in the middle of the park or in the centre back position. Maybe I'm just weird about that. It's certainly nothing against Mo, who's brilliant. But yeah, Maka for me, maybe Robbo, but will he play enough? What I don't understand actually is why Arna hasn't spilled the beans yet. Don't understand why Arna hasn't told us who the vice captain is yet. Will Diaz get booed when he returns to Anfield? No, not a chance. So Luis Diaz is leaving on reasonable terms, as far as I'm concerned. You know, I'm usually the first one to start moaning at somebody, but this is just a deal that I think works for everybody. And Liverpool wouldn't get to a number with him that he was confident enough to sign on. And I always felt that Liverpool were willing sellers at the right number. So, no, it didn't get toxic for me. So I do not expect anything but an applause when he comes. Not being here in a few days, said Casper. How are you at the moment, Craig? I'm feeling about 90%. Very happy with our business. Did you see the AFTV Gyökeres video? I don't watch a damn thing that channel does because I don't like a damn thing about that channel. So no, I absolutely haven't seen the Gyökeres video. But like I was saying to Arsenal fans earlier on, I've got the receipts for all the Arsenal fans saying they didn't want Gyökeres, cancel it and go get Isak. I'll never let them forget that. So every time they start trying to brag about anything, that's all I'm going to be saying to them now is, remember that striker he's playing for you now that you didn't want? That you wanted Isak? Tell the club to cancel the medical on social media and everything. But yeah, I don't watch anything AFTV do, mate. Being really honest, I don't know any of them personally, and I don't have a beef with any of them personally. I just hate that channel with a passion. I think it's given fan content a bad reputation. I think it's sensationalist. I think it's silly. I think some of the opinions are ridiculous. Just my take. But as I said, nothing personally against any of them. I don't know any of them. Just don't like it. Emmanuel said, "Hi Craig, love your channel. I'm a Red from New York City, but just interviewed Evertonian Roger Bennett feeling guilty, but he was very nice." You got to do what you got to do, Emmanuel. Got to do what you got to do. But thank you, man. I've never been to New York. I've been on a layover in New York, but I've never actually been to New York. But thank you, man, for dropping in. And I hope the interview went well. Of course, you're going to hit 1 million, Craig. You're the best Liverpool content creator of all time. Keep believing and we're with you. Thank you, mate. I don't know what happens. Do you know what I mean? I don't know. It takes a bit of luck to get there. But we'll give it a go. That's one thing I will say to you. We'll give it a go. Do I know Ty? He's the most delusional fan in the world. I know who he is, but I don't know. I won't judge any person I don't know. And I don't know anybody from AFTV. So, like I said, I've got nothing personal against any of them as people. I don't know them to have something against them. I just am a fan. But that doesn't mean others aren't or they haven't been very successful. I just don't like it. Thoughts on Chelsea potentially signing Hato and or Simons? Hato's a really good piece of business, Petter. I've just never been a fan of Simons. And you can go back and watch. It's not an anti-Chelsea thing. This is a genuine opinion from me. I've just never been somebody that's been sold on him. And a lot of the stuff I've read and heard about a bit of an attitude and a bit of an isolationist who doesn't really mix well with the squad. Yeah, just wouldn't be one for me at Liverpool. But Jarell Hato is a really good signing and a very good player. Looking well, Craig, with the weight loss. Thank you. I'm trying to bit by bit. Long way to go, but I really appreciate your kind words, mate. It's a long way to go. My wife's putting me to shame. She never needed to lose weight because she's always been beautiful, but she's been killing it in the gym over the last year and is absolutely phenomenal, looking brilliant. Casper said it was the most cringe thing ever. Well, I can believe that, Casper. Yes, I can absolutely believe that. Do you know what else surprised me about that deal? How much hard work Arsenal made of getting that deal over the line for Gyökeres. They seem to be negotiating that for 6-7 weeks. And if I'm not mistaken, another one of their bigger deals in the last few years went on and on and on as well. Hi Craig, who do you think will challenge Liverpool next year for the Premier League? For me, Arsenal and City. Not really sure exactly where we're at with City, but Arsenal will certainly be challenging, no doubt about that. Chelsea are the wild card for me because there's no doubt that they've done the business that will give them many, many options, done really well, and they'll be full of confidence after winning the Club World Cup. But I just wonder with them, is it a little bit too soon still? But they will be a problem in years to come. Right now, though, I just think Arsenal and Man City, but I'd probably push Arsenal ahead of Man City in my thought process. Jack said, do you know George Skyfe, another Liverpool creator? Reckon you would agree with a lot of what he says. I don't, but like I said, when I say I don't know anybody, it's never meant as a disrespectful thing. I just don't watch a lot of other content because I'm really busy. And if I do, I watch a bit of IFL TV for boxing info or something. So no, I don't know George, but sincerely wish him the best. And if you said we'd agree with a lot, well then that's obviously a good sign as well. So yeah, wish him the best. The Void Dude said, hello from Cork, Craig. I believe you will hit 1 mil. I'm gutted about Diaz. I'll miss the way he harassed and bullied opposition defenders. Yeah, there's a lot to admire about Diaz. And I'm certainly not celebrating by any stretch that he's moving on. It's just one of them deals, I think, that right time, right fee, just worked for everybody. And he's somebody I think we can replace. But like you've said, there's been some great moments with him. Always was a 100% effort out there on the pitch. Yes, at times maybe we felt like there was a bit of a lack of end product on occasion, but he always put in a good shift and always worked really hard for the team. Right, so 1,500 votes. 79% of you guys think we might get to 1 million. 21% don't. Thanks, 21%. And here you are watching. Come on now. We'll convince that 21% over time, won't we? We'll convince you. Does Isak signing bank on Newcastle's new forward? Yes, it does. And this is why I'm not expecting this to be done in the next few days. Because Newcastle are going to have to go and get a deal done for a forward. And they're going to want to do that before they sell Isak for a couple of reasons. One, because if their deal went tits up, then they'd be really screwed. But also, they don't want other clubs knowing that they have this wad of cash lying around. So, I think Sesko will be sorted out if it does during the week. And then I see Liverpool maybe starting to move. Jack said, yeah, he is quite a small account, but a good lad. Good. Well, I hope he does well. Some of the best content creators that I've seen, mate, are smaller accounts. And it certainly doesn't... It's not a reflection of how good you are. I will say there are content creators out there who are better than me, who I don't think have gotten a break. And there are other content creators who are even bigger, who I don't think are particularly good. So, yeah, it's a little mixture of what you know, who you know, how good you are at figuring out the YouTube back end, and also a little bit of luck on the way as well. Jamal, do you think we're done for signings up top after Isak? This is a debate I've had back and forth, Jamal, over the last few days. I'd like one more, but I think we might be done. And the reason I'd like one more is, so we're going to lose Chiesa. We've already unfortunately tragically lost Diogo. About to sell Diaz and we'll sell Darwin. So that's 4 players out. And at the moment we've brought in Ugo Ekitike. And yes, Rio might be an option, so that's 2. Still leaves us a body short, even after bringing in Isak. So I like a young winger, but I don't expect one, if that makes any sense. Dupe said, thoughts on Diaz leaving? It felt like it was going to happen. You know, we tried to move last year. I don't have any bad feelings about it. I think, look, Liverpool got a good fee. He's getting a pay bump when he moves. It is what it is. It's just the cycle of football. Aidan Kearney, how are we, sir? Said, hi, Craig. Aidan here from Manchester. Family is from Enniscorthy. I used to live in Enniscorthy. Good luck with the channel. I absolutely love it. Best of luck, my friend. Thank you, Aidan. As I mentioned, yeah, I used to live, well, just outside of Enniscorthy in a place called Davidstown. But it felt a little bit too far, a little bit too isolated for me. So moved back towards Gorey, which is about 40 minutes closer, half an hour closer to Dublin. So I feel a bit more comfortable here. +1 for George. He's a good lad. You should collab. So I'll always say this about collabs, mate. My door's open. If anybody ever wants to do that with me, email me, and if we can fit it in, we'll sort it out. I don't close the door on anybody. I'll work and do videos with pretty much anybody, as long as they're kind, nice, respectful. No problems. And they don't try to stitch me up, because I've been stitched up by people before who brought me on, taken something I said way out of context and tried to throw me under a bus with it, and it really pissed me off. So yeah, I'm a bit mindful of that as well. Craig, have the Toffees agreed a fee for Fofana? Truth is, I'm not sure, Dave. I know yesterday they'd made the approach, but what we didn't see yesterday was any indication of whether the player wanted to move to Everton. So we knew that Everton had made an approach. We knew that they were talking with Leon. But I don't remember reading anywhere if the player wanted to make the move or not. So I'm not sure is the honest answer. Is it true they aren't using the 97 emblem on the shirt? Not to the best of my understanding, Tanya. They're going to put the Diogo Jota 20 on the players' warm-up tracksuit tops or warm-up jackets and jerseys for the season. But I've not heard anything about not using the 97 now. As far as I'm aware, that'll be on the back of the neck as it always is. Did not bring that up on screen for you? Sorry. Yeah, as far as I'm aware, Tanya, that'll still be on the back of the neck as normal. 75 million euro for Lucho. Is our revenge for Mane way too cheap? Well, the Mane situation was because of his contract situation as well. He had 1 year to go. So, but if you looked at some of the Bayern Munich fan accounts, they're basically putting Mane and Diaz side by side and saying, why are we buying these older Premier League rejects? So remember, that's the club that Mane was going to be loved in a way he wasn't at Liverpool by some of the Mane fanboys. How the fuck did that work out? Because remember, the grass ain't always green, and it really wound me up. Nothing Sadio did, but the way some of the Sadio Mane fanboys were belittling Liverpool, saying that he was being mistreated, saying that we didn't respect him, that wound me up something fierce. And then when he went to Bayern and they turned on him quite quickly, I remember thinking, yeah, not so fucking great now, is it? Craig, do you think we'll be signing a left winger like Rodrigo, or will Gakpo be a regular starter? I don't know how we will line up if we get Isak and Ekitike in as well. So my guess is, of course, Gakpo will be a left side option. Young Rio will be an option. And I think Ekitike will be the other left side option. And as somebody pointed out to me earlier on as well, there's also the possibility of Isak pushing out left because he's played there with the Swedish national team. So yeah, here's the thing from Romano about Kwanzaa, somebody was asking about earlier on. The buyback clause for Kwanzaa is just over 60 million euro, and it won't be available until 2027. So 2 years before Liverpool can look to action that buyback clause if they wanted to. Will Jota 20 be on the fan version of the shirts? No, I don't believe so, but I don't know for a fact. But what I will say is, even if it isn't, because I don't think Adidas could have run it at such short notice, because these kits will be manufactured quite a while in advance, but I would be fairly sure that there will be some enterprising person that will find a way to sell the patches for people to be able to put on the shirts, because I'm sure a lot of people would love to have it on their shirt as well. Carl, how are we, dude? What's up from Ballymun? Nice to see you, bro. Nice to see you. I honestly think you will have a channel glow up and surpass at least 500k by Christmas. Lots of love. Well, it means a lot to me, mate, having people like yourself from Dublin, my home city as well. supporting me and doing well, or thinking we'll do well. So thank you, Carl, and much love to you in Ballymun, my man. Often out there at IKEA spending too much money. Me, I mean, I'm not trying to say you, by the way. You know, well, you can't go into IKEA and just get what you went for. It's impossible. You go into IKEA and it's like going into the old pound shops or the €2 shops. You're going around going, sure, I'll throw this in. It's only a couple of quid for these tea towels and a couple of these cups and a few of this bit of cutlery. And then you get to the checkout and before you know it, you're up to 80 quid on little bits and bobs. I'm like that in the €2 shop. Get to the checkout and I'm shocked when it's like 60 quid or something. Love an IKEA hot dog, said Carl. I don't eat hot dogs, so but I do like the meatballs from IKEA, and I do like the what are they? The cinnamon rolls that they sell in there, as well as the Marabou chocolate. How are we? Nice to see you win again, Ryan. See, I told you I'd remember. Evening, buddy. Hope dinner went well. It was lovely. Thank you. Got stopped. It was so funny. We were leaving dinner and we were coming out of the hotel and some of the staff ran out after for a photo because they couldn't ask when I was in there, but they ran out afterwards asking for a photo. Absolutely lovely lads, both of them. And ironically, there was one of them that was actually serving us during our meal, so did a fine job. What a pleasant surprise. Lost my super chats are being declined. I don't know why that would be, mate. Haven't got a clue. Obviously, there's no problem with you sending super chats as it's you've been very kind and sent quite a few. So it must be a Google, YouTube thing, mate. Certainly not an us thing. But again, like I've always said, there's no expectation from us on super chats or anything. You guys being here and watching and putting in comments is more than enough. You up the Ballymun, said Ryan Pepper. How are we, dude? Hope you're well. And much love to you as well, Ryan. You're famous now, Craig. Look, I don't think I'm not. I'm a normal fella, but I'm certainly getting recognised a lot more over the last year. We notice it when I don't go out much. I could, honestly, it could be a month sometimes before I leave my house. But when we do go out, people have always been really kind and come up and been very nice to us. So thank you to anyone who has come up and said hello. You've always been very nice. Adam said, don't know Slot's thinking, but for the same money, I think I would prefer Fofana, Sesko and Gay for the same money as Isak. But this is so cool for me to be able to say, Adam, don't worry about the money. It isn't a case of the money not being there for other players. It's just these are the ones that aren't our wants. And Isak's top of the wish list. So I know it's really unusual because we're always talking about pounds, pennies, swaps, John not spending, but the money will be there for a centre-back and the money will be there for Isak. And it's not going to be a lack of money that stops us. Arna wants to work with, I don't want to say a small squad, but a tight squad, and everybody in it will serve a purpose and get game time. So it feels lovely to be able to say that, by the way. But yeah, so don't worry about it. We're definitely going to get ourselves that centre-back. I'm hyped for Isak's goal celebration in our red kit. Well, let's not get ahead of ourselves just yet. He is still a Newcastle player as things stand. Oh, I want to pitch something to you. Our last ever live show that we are doing Sunday 19th of October at the Hot Water Comedy Club in Liverpool. And what we're doing is we're going to donate all of our money from our ticket sales, from the Anfield Agenda side of it. We're going to donate that to Joe Lewis's fund for his wheelchair basketball chair. So if you want to come along, not only will you hopefully be having a good night and enjoying myself, Connor, no, he won't be there, myself, Steve, Chris and musical act, but you'll also be helping to fund Joe's wheelchair basketball chair. So like I said, we'd love to see you guys come along. It's our last ever live show, and the £15 ticket fee, our Anfield Agenda cut of it, will be going towards Joe's wheelchair basketball chair. Corbin, how do you think this window will affect next summer? I actually spoke about this with Mo Chatra because I had a concern about that. And he assured me that there will still be the ability. Now, I can't guarantee you a signing in a year's time, but it won't be handcuffing us and stopping us from making deals in the past. Mo explains it really well in the video, but basically what we're committed to this summer isn't as high as the number of all the transfers, let's say. So this summer we're committed to about 160 million. some of the deals that we've done in the past, those final payments are coming to an end as well. So the ability will be there to still spend in the future, but maybe not to this extent. Royston said, Craig, my main man, been celebrating the England women's win. Have I missed 20 seconds? Have I missed in 20 seconds? Look, congratulations to the Lionesses. Like I've said, a tremendous achievement. Back-to-back Euro success is phenomenal. And I certainly hope you guys get a bank holiday over it because, good success there from the English women's team. 90-sec goals. Thank you, my friend. Said, hey, Craig, you're doing great. Rodrigo to finish it. Do you know what? I'm afraid to even think about it because I feel greedy just thinking about even Rodrigo. Because, if we get Isak in on a centre-back, we're talking about 500 million probably in this window in sale or in spending. Now, granted, we'll bring back in somewhere 200 to 300 maybe in sales. But I don't know. Psychologically, I'm preparing for a centre-back and an Isak, and that's it. But I wouldn't say no to a young up-and-coming winger. S4T, bro, thank you. I've just noticed you gifted 50 memberships as well. Absolute legend, mate. Thank you so much. Honestly, absolute hero. Thank you. And you said the road to 1 million is going to be successful. I'll definitely be breaking down in tears if we ever get to 1 million, mate. It would be absolutely incredible. I can only imagine it. We're a long way away from it, but my God, 1 million. Just think about that. More people, no, I'm going to say that correctly. Twice as many people subscribe to our channel as live in the county of Wexford. I couldn't believe that. There's 160 odd thousand people live in the county of Wexford and twice that amount. We nearly have the same amount of subscribers as people that live in Belfast, which is, we're a little bit short. I think it's about 350 for Belfast, so nearly there. 5 in a row and number 10 incoming. Sign me up for that, D-Thug. Sign me up. I think we're going back-to-back this year in the league. I really feel confident we're going to go back-to-back in the league. I'm not confident enough to say we're going to win the Champions League because sometimes you need a little bit of luck on the way for that. But I really do feel like for the first time in a very long time, I actually think we are favourites going into a new season. It's always been that we had a chance, but Man City were probably the favourites. Now I feel we're favourites, but we have to live up to that tag. Craig, my grand dog here, a Frenchie called Tyson. Nice. Love Frenchies, Dave, as you know. Smelly little fuckers when they fart, though. My dog's a vicious little git when he farts. And their hairs get everywhere. You'd be on holidays and all, and you think, oh, grand, no hairs. And you're looking at your clothes, you go, oh, no, still Harvey hairs there. But give him a little hug from me, Dave. Paul Donnelly said 2 in a row would be amazing. It would. It would. Back-to-back would shut a lot of people up. There'd be no fluke. They're still going to undermine it, right? They're still going to say, well, of course you did. You spent X amount of money. But so did you guys. That doesn't matter. We don't use facts when we're debating. So, yeah, back-to-back would shut a lot of people up. Kevin Shada for Diaz. I don't think we're going to be bringing in another wide player. At least I think it'll be Isak and a centre-back, and that's probably it for us. Andrew Sweeney said, Gay and Isak, give us them titles. Liverpool domination for years to come. Up the Reds. And that's the plan. That's why Liverpool are building like they are now. They want that. They want that era of dominance, and I'm here for it. Haroon said, I hope this doesn't sound insensitive, but do we know if the club got any compensation for Diogo? I don't think you're the only person that's been wondering that, mate. And truth is, I don't know the answer to that as a definitive. I don't. But I would be really amazed if a business didn't have some type of coverage for players with the value that they are. I'd be amazed if there wasn't something there. Now, but I don't know is the honest answer. I can't imagine they wouldn't, though. There has to have been something there. I don't know the absolute ins and outs of it, but I'd be amazed if you have a squad worth, say, 500 million and you don't have some type of insurance on those players in case something happened. So, but I don't know is the actual answer. Naturalist said, Mo Chatter said, likely Liverpool carry 2 insurance policies on players, so likely. Yeah, look, I would assume there would have been one, because like I said, we're talking about really high value individuals here from the club's commitment financially for wages and transfer fees. It would sound ludicrous to me if there wasn't. And I know that when players go and play for their international teams, I think FIFA take out the insurance policies then to cover the players when they're with the international teams. And think back to when the likes of Michael Owen, when he was at Newcastle, had a big injury. I think Newcastle got compensation from FIFA for that, if I'm not mistaken. Gabriel Reynolds said, great show as usual, Craig. Thank you. Do you think we'll retain the title and win anything else? The Lisburn Reds? Look, as mad as this sounds, everything is possible. Like, not haha joke, we're all deluded fans, everything is possible. I mean, everything is possible. So, a league title's possible, a double's possible. Anything is possible with this group of players. We'll need a bit of luck. We'll need some luck with injuries, but why not? Think about a big trophy and a little one, or the 2 big ones. I'm going into the season hoping for that. Sorry, did I miss a super chat from somebody? No, I've done this one, Mark. I've read this one out. Hi, Craig. Hope you're well. I'm pinching myself at this window. We're finally acting like we should. Point of strength. 2 centre-backs needed for me. I agree, Jamie, and we did a poll yesterday on the channel, and most people, mate, said we need 2 centre-backs still. I think we're only going to get 1, Jamie, for what it's worth, but most people think we need 2. Andy Wood said, will Wirtz take the number 7? I would love him to. I don't know the answer, but for me, I'd be giving Wirtz the 7. And then, what do? Do you give Ekitike the 9 if Darwin goes? Or do you wait and see if Isak comes in? So yeah, I'm intrigued to find this out, but somebody has to take 7. It's too big a number, too prominent a number not to have. And I think Wirtz would be an incredible number 7. Andrew said, we're record setters, so the quadruple, why the fuck not? Exactly. If anyone's going to do it, mate, why not this group? It takes, like, there's a reason it hasn't been done. It is a real mental slug. But why not? I think Isak will take 14. No problem with that. If there's a number a player wants, no problems. If it's available, take it. But yeah, for me, I think Wirtz is a 7. I can see him doing the number justice, being that, like, attacking, creative, glorious, gliding across the pitch superstar. I give him the 7 in a heartbeat. Shane, I was only thinking of you earlier on, dude. I was watching the All-Ireland with my cousin, and was only thinking about you when I seen the Kerry were winning it. Sam is back to its rightful home. What a performance up the kingdom. Number 39. Well, congratulations to you, mate. Very deserving winners. Alisson to Saudi next year will fund next year's window. I don't think he ever goes to Saudi. I think he'll see out his contract at Liverpool and go back to International. And the more I watch that documentary about Alisson, the more I feel like he will go back to International in Brazil after he's finished in Europe. Is Stefan far off from a return? Will he be back before the start of the season? Truth is, Lee, I don't know, mate. But it's not looking great for him, because he's already missed half a pre-season. And if he's not getting game time, I think it's going to be a loan again. I can't see Arne entrusting somebody who he hasn't had the summer to work with. So it's a shitty situation, because I would have loved them to have gotten minutes. How was the meal? It was good. Yeah, it was good, thank you. Rayan said, rather get Diamonde from Sporting, more of a Van Dijk type player. I don't know. I like the idea of Mark Gay. I think he'd be a brilliant player, homegrown. right age bracket, natural leader, decent price as well. Newcastle won't let Isak go. Are you for real? Mate, he's leaving. And if you don't think he's leaving, Martin, and I'm not going to get into a back and forth or an argument with you because I don't know you, dude, but if they're not going to sell him, why are they looking to buy 2 forwards, Martin? Just answer me that one question. If Newcastle aren't selling Isak, why are they looking for 2 strikers? It's because they're selling Isak. They're bringing in a Sheshko type player, and then they're looking for that Visa, younger or cheaper, 30 to 40 million pound player, an Ollie Watkins, a Johan Visa. I'm telling you now, mate, they're doing it because they're selling him. And they're even starting to admit it now. You know, the pretense of the injury bollocks is all out the window. So, what else is there? You know, they're not going to start bringing in 2 strikers and just leave Isak sitting on the bench. Not going to happen. They're doing it because they're going to sell the player. It might go all the way to the end of the window. They absolutely will play hardball over it. But I can't see anything but them selling at this point. It'll be silly money that Liverpool won't pay. Well, that's fair, Martin. I can't tell you what price we'll go to, mate, or what price we won't. That would be unfair of me to say. But I just get the feeling, Martin, it'll be done. And I'm not saying I'll agree with the number, mate. I'm not saying, because I already think the 120 type numbers are overpriced. But I'm confident on it. But I'll tell you this as well. If we don't sign him, I'm not going to lose a minute's sleep over it. Because I'm really happy with what we're doing. And if we can't get Isak, I know we'll move on and get another very good player. But I just get the feeling it'll happen. And my instincts have been pretty good so far this summer. And look, if I'm wrong on this one, I'm wrong. But I'm not basing it off fact or information. It is just off a gut feeling. Isak coming, deal done behind the scenes, 140, 6-year deal, 285k wages, says Jason Curry. Isak is a priority number 1 for slot, so we're going to try our hardest to get him, said Matt Denny. I think so as well, mate. And many of the journalists are saying the very same thing, that he's the number 1 priority. So let's wait and see what happens. Right, look, ladies and gents, I'm going to call it a night. It was lovely to jump on to catch up with you all again. If you can, do drop a like for me before you head off. And of course, don't forget to check out the Anfield Agenda Clips channel, which has just gone past 53,000 subscribers, I think. So if you can, check out the Clips channel, give us a sub. But tomorrow, back to normal schedule. 4:30 video, late night agenda at 8:45. And of course, a late night news video tomorrow night as well. Appreciate you all. Thank you so much for your kind words, for your support, and for your fun as well. Appreciate you all. Talk to you